When an individual feel, he performs and the ability to respond to unexpected situations. We know that alcohol adversely affects or impairs one's ability to carry out the task of driving an automobile. But how does alcohol cause impairment? How does it diminish one's capacity to perceive and respond to a given situation? What effect does alcohol have on the brain and behavior?
Hey, how you doing, huh? How you doing?
Fantastic, you made it. I didn't think you were going to make it.
Yeah, of course. You kidding?
Great.
Hey, you looking good. Yeah?
Glad you were able to make it tonight.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Look at I ran into Jerry the other afternoon. You told me that you couldn't tell me already.
Yeah, he told you that, huh? Hey, tell him. You know, what's that? What's going on?
Just enjoying it.
Yeah, you're not kidding. So, is that what he was doing?
Yeah, you made it.
Yeah, you knew I was coming, huh?
Yeah, maybe more where that came from. Look out.
Yeah.
I am going to do some things. I'll see you guys later.
Okay, see you later.
The average drink contains approximately 1/2 ounce of pure ethyl alcohol. This is the amount of alcohol found in a 12-ounce can of beer, in a 4-ounce glass of wine, and in a cocktail which contains 1 ounce of distilled liquor. When the alcohol contained in one of these beverages enters the bloodstream, it begins to induce intoxication, thus affecting behavior.
I've seen you around, but I don't think we've ever met before. My name is Victor.
I'm Sherry.
The level of intoxication can be measured in terms of the concentration of alcohol in one's bloodstream, or the blood alcohol level. Though this blood alcohol level is influenced primarily by the amount one consumes, there are other factors which play an important role. The size of an individual is an important factor. A large person has more blood in his system and therefore will be less intoxicated than a smaller person who consumes the same amount of alcohol. The rate at which alcohol is consumed will also affect its concentration at a given time. Sex is another factor. Women do not dilute alcohol as efficiently as men and tend to have a slightly higher concentration with the same alcohol intake. We have seen some of the factors which can influence the level of intoxication. But how does alcohol actually affect our system? And how does intoxication occur? Unlike most foods, which are slowly digested before entering the bloodstream, alcohol passes directly through the walls of the stomach and small intestine. Once alcohol is distributed throughout the body, it undergoes various metabolic changes. Most of this metabolic activity occurs in the liver. There, alcohol is transformed and eventually oxidized into carbon dioxide and water. Although alcohol acts on every organ system in the body, its primary effects are on the nervous system. For alcohol belongs to a group of substances which suppress or inhibit the functions of the brain. One can better understand how alcohol inhibits these functions and dramatically alters human experience and behavior by identifying its effects on 4 of the major centers in the brain. The overlying region of the brain is the cerebral cortex. Here, the higher human capacities such as learning, judgment, and abstract thinking are controlled. Located within the cerebral cortex are the sensory and motor strips. They govern our ability to perceive sensory input and guide appropriate motor responses. At the base of the brain is the cerebellum, a highly specialized area involved in regulating coordination and balance. Finally, the midbrain and brainstem monitor our vital life support functions, such as heart rate and respiration. The concentration of alcohol in the brain will have an inhibiting effect on these centers, progressing from the higher cortical centers to the more basic in the brainstem. First, the cortical or learning centers are inhibited, and judgment becomes impaired. As its concentration becomes greater, alcohol affects perception, responses, coordination, and finally, consciousness. When the brainstem itself becomes saturated with alcohol, our vital functions may cease. We have seen how alcohol affects our system and causes intoxication. What behaviors can we observe at various stages of intoxication?
No, I'm going with 2 friends. They'll get me up in the morning, and I have to get up after I get to...
This woman has kept her intake of alcohol to a minimum. At this point in the party, her blood alcohol level is roughly 0.05%. She is relaxed and shows no obvious signs of impairment.
Listen, there's an elephant and a giraffe, okay? And they're sitting in a bathtub, all right? Elephant says to the giraffe, he says, "That's soap."
This individual has had more to drink. His blood alcohol level is 0.10%. He is animated and even euphoric, as if the alcohol were stimulating his brain. His surge of energy, however, is due to a loss of inhibition, since alcohol depresses those higher centers of the brain which normally inhibit behavior.
Oh, my God.
This man has a higher blood alcohol level of 0.20%. It is obvious from his behavior that he is intoxicated. His coordination and balance are impaired, and his speech is affected as well.
New car, and it sits in the driveway.
We need a drink. Little Tom's a little light.
Crawford, I don't think you should. I think you've had enough to drink. I think you need a cup of coffee.
No.
I'm
Why
going to get you a
need
cup
a
of
drink?
coffee.
What do with that?
This woman is even further intoxicated, and her blood alcohol level has climbed to 0.30%. Although her eyes are open, for all practical purposes, her mind is asleep. Her companion's blood alcohol level is even higher at 0.35%. For him, this party is over. There is a popular misconception that exercise, cold showers, or stimulants such as coffee accelerate the sobering up process. And indeed, coffee will help some individuals remain awake, but it will not improve judgment, nor will it sharpen reactions which are dulled by alcohol. For the average individual, it takes an hour to metabolize 1 drink or half an ounce of pure alcohol. Time, then, is the most critical factor.
After all of that, Oh, yeah, I can do that. No problem.
An individual who intends to drive after drinking should either pace his intake or allow sufficient time after the last drink before getting behind the wheel of an automobile. In most states, a person is considered to be under the influence when his blood alcohol level reaches 0.10%. Though all of these individuals are impaired, this person poses the greatest driving hazard to himself and to others. His physical impairment may not be obvious. However, alcohol is already affecting his judgment. This individual would tend to overrate his ability to drive and take needless chances behind the wheel of an automobile. A more intoxicated individual might be aware of his limitations, as would others around him.
Are you going to be okay driving home?
Yeah, well,
Hey, look at Tom, you look right here and watch it.
yeah, why don't you come with me? Anything will be okay.
Take care.
Valerie, we gotta go.
Oh, you guys going to go now?
Yeah, it was a great party. We had a great
Really?
time.
Oh, thanks so much for coming.
Oh, well, look, thanks for having me.
Well, you're very welcome.
I'll talk to you later.
Real soon.
Yeah.
You going to be all right driving home?
Hey, I never felt better.
At autopsy, the average blood alcohol level of fatally injured drivers is 0.13%. You don't have to be drunk to be a seriously impaired driver.